Hey everybody, clearing. Okay, I have a little bit of sound tech issue because I can't find my microphone. So hopefully if I talk a little bit louder, you will still hear it. First off, I am going to dive into what are we clearing in the collective? What are the masculines and feminines clearing in the collective? What does the shift look like, and what is that doing for the intimate connection? So masculines, what are the masculines clearing at this time? Old energy paradigms. Lord of Swiftness. I just heard the hoops to jump through, like jump, how high? So masculines are letting go of this idea that things have to be lived up to, those expectations that people have. It's like they're seeing, maybe with you, Divine Feminine, they don't have to live up to some kind of expectation. And so you're not holding a hoop there saying jump and them being expected to say how high. So they're clearing this idea that they have to be satisfying your every woman wish, like as a way of protecting Divine Feminine. Interesting message. What can we see for how that process is playing out? What does that look like? The end of tears, I just heard. Seeking the answer to what is the alternative? How do we please a partner? How do we offer value? How do we know what we're contributing? What kind of appreciation can we share? They're looking into how to create happiness, how to genuinely show up. I think that's the key, is that they're touching on this contribution is an essential essence. It's an authentic thing. It's not an expected thing. It's not something that you have to wear a mask to produce for someone. It's you showing up, masculines. So they're seeking this solution about how to provide what the feminine wants. You know, if a man has ever been adored and loved by a woman, take gender, how it resonates, they ask, can I give you what you need, what you want? And that is such a beautiful thing, because we have the masculines looking at what they thought that meant before, and now looking into what it really means. Maturity, wisdom, energetic knowing. There is a understanding here. I want to say though, whether some masculines have come to this or not, it is just the contribution of genuine self. That's what I'm feeling here. So some are aware of that, but I'm getting that many haven't quite realized this is so simple, that it's just showing up as yourself, masculines. There are no expectations. It's just being genuinely present. That's not an easy undertaking necessarily. So what can we see for what this is doing for the intimate connection from the masculine side of the energy? Knight of Roses in the neutral position. So let's read this. I know this has come out for the masculines before. Punctual, methodical, with great stamina. That's super interesting, because we're talking about swiftness, and punctuality is one of those kind of timing things. With the Knight of Roses, things will run like clockwork. So in the past, they were running on the feminine pleasing timelines. This knight likes to get down to business. A plan of action may even have been made in advance. So masculines do like to strategize. They do like to win. They do like to provide. They do like to satisfy, to please. But there is something about timing, because we've got swiftness, we've got time is of the essence kind of stuff. However, we do have what are they clearing? So the pressure associated with those things. When it comes from a genuine place, it's in flow. When it comes from a pressured place, it's contrived. It's not genuine. As an objective-driven individual, they can become overly focused on reaching the climax, forgoing the wild adventure of getting there. So stopping and smelling the roses, enjoying the ride. So what are they clearing? The objective-driven focus, reaching the climax, reaping the benefit, getting the reward, being praised even. This is a more slow and steady wins the race. This is a more decadent, languishing in the process rather than rushing to an end goal. So, you know, feminines, we're told to let go of attachment to outcome. This is the masculine version of letting go of attachment to outcome and just being genuine with their counterpart. This is dawning on them that there is no goal other than that, just to be genuine. I saw 555 when that message was coming out, and that is a number of change. So, okay. They may need a gentle prod to tune them into their emotions and inject a little more passion into their action. So yeah, we can lose passion, we can lose presence, we can lose that zing in the moment if we're too focused on performance or an object or, you know, an objective, or an end goal. So masculines are learning to smell the roses. We've got so many roses here. And this is neutral because they're realizing they don't just have to perform or protect or have it all figured out. They can enjoy the adventure as well. Awesome masculines. Let's see what the feminines are clearing. Old paradigms. So the objectification of the masculine, the slavery of the masculines are realizing. So the feminines have been letting go of that idea of the masculines, and now the masculines are finally seeing that the feminines, their divine feminines, are not holding them to those outdated paradigms, and that they are free to be authentically themselves here. They don't have to have this unrealistic standard to meet, an ambiguous standard to rise to. What can an impossible standard I just heard. What can the feminines see that they are clearing? Lord of the Triumph of Light, the Chariot, and Queen of the Thrones of Air. So the bitchy energy, Queen of Swords in the reverse. Basically, this is the call the shots, wear the pants in the family kind of impatience. This is the feminine in the diva energy, the controlling energy, the unsatisfied, unreasonable, holding the hoops. So it's perfectly mirrored here because the feminines are saying, I don't want to be that shot caller anymore. I don't want to be the one that decides. I don't want to try and suppose that I've got it all figured out to compensate for a masculine, to tell a masculine everything, you know, or to try and suppose what would be best for all involved. That's too much burden for the feminine. It's also too much burden for the masculine. So divine feminines are clearing this idea that they have to, you know, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. Yes and no. So it's not on mama's shoulders to tell everybody what would make mama happy. Mama gets to find out her own happiness, come into her own wholeness, take gender how it resonates. And the masculine polarity gets to bring their side of the puzzle, their cards to the table, and everybody just gets to fall into sync. It doesn't have to be one person directing the karma, the choices, the decisions on behalf of the collective, on behalf of the whole or the family unit or all of that. It has to be everybody having independent, unique, beautiful knowing of what works for them, and then a round table. So there is this, I just heard narcissistic and disintegrated feminine templates. I'm not going to get into those terminologies because I don't necessarily agree with those descriptors fully, but there is that in this energy that the feminines are letting go of their unnatural assumed responsibility to tell the masculine what would make them happy, and to be in charge of their own happiness and not direct that through enslaving a masculine to jump through hoops. Wow, I hope that's not sounding too wordy and messy. It's not something I've typically tried to put into words, and so it's clumsy a little bit, but there we go. So what does this look like in the process? A little bit of chaos while we find the new norm, I just heard, and disillusion. So I just am hearing, Dr. Phil, how's that working for you? So feminines, the calling the shots hasn't been working for dynamics. It's been contrived, and it's not a workable template. So there's a little bit of mayhem and uncertainty as humanity lets go of these false, polarized notions, and we come into a little bit more of a balance. So if you can have neutrality about what the F is happening to relationships on the planet, and really drop into making yourself happy, whole, content, evolving, seeing with your eyes wide open, understanding energy patterns, loving your life, doing the healing, doing the work, striving for contribution from what you know in this world, you're going to come through this with balance, with ease, with grace, with clarity, with wisdom, and all the falsehoods are going to fall away. Everything that's not based in a sound foundation of love is going to fall away. And the chaos is going to relax, because it's not going to be so confusing when, oh, snap, we all just get to be ourselves. Oh, amazing. So what is this doing for the intimacy? I heard autonomy. So what is this doing for autonomy and intimacy in these beautiful connections? 3 of shells and 8 of feathers. Okay, so this is typically in regular tarot teamwork, and the places that we are in the illusion that we're trapped in powerless. So let's see, 3 of shells, actually the 8 of feathers, I'm open to that page. Bondage, humiliation, psychological entrapment. I'm just hearing the roles that the disintegrated templates have forced both into. The feminines calling the shots and the masculines never doing well enough. Gone. Boom. Get rid of that. That's ridiculous. Prior disappointments preventing present action. So there have been, that's not the only template that's been playing out, but that is one that's being cleared apparently at this time. So that may resonate for a bunch of people at this point because it's being cleared. But we are more empowered with regard to these things than we maybe have seen. So get out of those imprinting, those imprinted roles, and be in independent thought is what I'm hearing, and in kindness and in unconditional love. And ask yourself, has this dynamic been playing out in my knee-jerk reactions to what I think or expect should be happening at this point of the journey or not? It's interesting. And then we get the 3 of shells. Sex and drugs and rock and roll. Dressing up as who you most want to be that day. Friendships forged on these principles. Okay. Don't take too much care. These are temporary games. No one will notice if you drop out from exhaustion. So this is actually what it's doing for intimacy, is showing where there have been roles, where there's been play acting, role play that hasn't been authentic. So this is the divine feminines are really understanding that there has been this act going on, that the feminines have had this pressure, an unspoken pressure, expectation to be demanding, controlling, and the burden is being lifted. These things are exhausting is what I'm hearing. and that there's been a bondage, there's been an inappropriate imbalance on the planet. We're swinging back from it. So forgive humanity for having gotten to that extreme, and really take the masks off. And that's what the feminines, so this disappointing past in many regards is stopping the movement forward until we're no longer just unconsciously falling into it. We need to see it for what it is so that we don't engage with it. So a lot of the pause in these connections really looks like it's so that we can see these things for what it is, so that we're not re-engaging in this kind of dynamic in relationships, and so we can be conscious and aware that those things weren't workable models for relationship, and that we don't need to create them. Many of you I can hear saying, yes, I know that, but that's why there's a pause across the board. We're restructuring societies and community and culture around this awareness of equality and true genuine connection and individual mastery, and not putting it on other people. We're needing the spaciousness to learn this as a human collective right now. We've come into enough evolutionary progress that we have the luxury to focus on this as a collective, as a population. We are getting there. It's emerging. So humbly accept that this is where humanity is at, and that there is a pause in relationships because of this as we restructure. So okay, let's get into the daily reading style here. So what can we see as the essential energies affecting the twin collective that joins me here? The beautiful people that resonate with this path of awareness. What can we see for the essential energies regarding these connections, the counterparts, our hearts, awarenesses, all of that? What can we see? How are the things playing out in the physical at this time, whether we're conscious of that or not, and what is being illuminated to the collective regarding these essential energies, the way things are playing out, what is being seen through it? What are the aha moments we're having regarding this stuff? Okay, essential energy regarding the connections. Burden, it's really showing where there are still burdensome energies playing out. How are the 3D circumstances navigating this? Commitment, abundance. This is a card of an entrepreneur, but it's also a husband kind of card, life partner card. Consistency, excellence in business, taking things to the next level, accountability, impeccability in action and deed. So it's playing out. We're becoming more strong in our character. We are becoming integrated. We have integrity. And this is surely letting go of the karmic weak energy. So we are seeing weak energy being released. This is playing out in the 3D. What is being illuminated to us? The anxiety that this stuff caused, and this is backing us. This is telling the collective, don't re-engage with karmic things. See them, identify them, go away from them. Don't put yourself in harm's way. Our emotions that show us anxiety or peace are incredible teachers for what we should go towards and what we should go away from. If you have a lot of pain in your twin connection, something you are interpreting in the scenario is causing anxiety, that's attachment. Please take that to heart and find the root of your anxiety. Trace it. Become an energetic master. Understand what fosters anxiety and what fosters peace, and seek to steer your ship towards peace. What is it that we can see in these connections for each other at this time? Kindness. We're still seeing that theme of kindness. So there is an unfolding of compassion through being able to see ourselves through the lens of kindness and our counterpart through the lens of kindness. This is where compassion is in action, because when we judge, when we have ridicule, envy, jealousy, greed, accusations, we're not seeing that person with the eyes of kindness. We're in judgment. And so this is seeking understanding about the position of the other, about the autonomy of the other. And so that is the lens, that the essential energy that we're experiencing the other through right now. This is allowing ourselves to be safe, to be genuine in these connections together. What is the way this is playing out? A little pause in the sexual advancing of the masculine to the feminine. There's a stepping back from this sexual, sensual, seductive, charismatic energy. There's a little bit of a deferring to the kindness right now, instead of just making it hot and heavy, all about sex or makeup sex, or taking it to that, or even cheapening it a little bit, isn't happening right now, because there is too much honor and respect for each other. There is more of an awareness that this is deepening, this connection is deepening. What's illuminating at this time? The change. Everybody is sensing a change. There's a little bit more sincerity, a little bit more permanence, a little bit more endurance, a little bit more patience, a little bit more reverence, a little bit more appreciation, respect. Yeah, so there's a bit more of that coming in from self and other. The kindness of self and other is translating to seeing that reflected in the dynamic with self and other. Both counterparts are understanding self and other through a remarkable, observable change. Observable change is happening here. It's not just all about the connection being this magical, marvelous new thing. It's actually starting to ground and be affirmed by each in a new way. What is the heart space for these connections? Communication. So a new form, a new frequency of communication that is heart-based is coming in. A new permission to just speak more transparently from the heart is coming to the forefront. The feminine here, there is a feminine on this card. It's not a masculine knight. And so the feminine is now understanding there is truth, there is protection, there is righteousness, there is redemption here. The feminine is seeing they don't have to just take a submissive role. It's not call the shots in the scenario or submit. It is tact, timing, grace, appropriate action. And the masculines are understanding that as well. What is playing out in the 3D? There's a balancing coming in, an emotional balancing happening, but it's really being brought to the attention of each where it hasn't been on the up and up, or it hasn't free flowed. There's starting to be progress towards flow, towards a little bit more normalcy, less weirdness, less cringe, less angst, less insecurity, less lack of confidence. What is being illuminated? Inner bravery. Both are having more of a constitution to stick with it, to stay the course, to test the waters without playing games, but see how they each feel as this deepens. My cards just blew onto the ground. Hey, wind. The winds of change. Oh, they were cards that I already read, so I'm not going to read them again. But it was that Queen of Swords, how high should I jump axis. It just got blown away. So that is a proof that this is being cleared. What can we see for the heart space for each other? What are the energies permitting? Oh, the Moon Queen. This is like Yeah, this is like the Empress, but actually I'm going to read the book because the Moon Queen in this book is unique, or in this deck is unique. Okay, when you see the Moon Queen card, it means to trust your instincts. Do you ever get a funny feeling deep inside and you just know something is true? Like you just know your friend is sad today, even though she hasn't said anything about it yet. Or you just know your dad is tired, even though he's pretending he's not. When you get a feeling like that, it's called an instinct. It's a feeling that gives you information. When you have an instinct, listen closely. It will tell you the truth. This is in the heart space about each other right now. And so pay attention to those instincts. It may be nonverbal, but sit with it until it describes itself to you and you can express it. That is how we bring voice to love. I just heard. How is this playing out in the 3D? There is an immediate invitation to do this. There's like an immediate knowing that this instinct, that this is our person, is coming to the forefront. What is illuminating about this? Two of Wands, the twin flame, the true match, the perfect match, the stepping out of comfort zone and saying, I'm going for it because I'm not going to find this person anywhere else ever. This is so beautiful. It's so rare. It's so right. Why am I not going towards it again? That kind of thing. Why is it not putting me at ease? Why is this not soothing my soul? Why am I having any kind of uncertainty? It should be joy. We're coming into joy with this. It's immediately accessible when we finally admit to ourselves that it doesn't matter if the other person acknowledges it or not. We first have to acknowledge that we genuinely feel this connection. When you fully own that, you don't actually need the other person to acknowledge it. But that's the natural next thing that does occur, is the other person does acknowledge it, because who can argue with truth? But you have to know it from your point of view first. You have to actually understand that it is true in order for it to be realized in your reality. And I will say it again, the next step is for your counterpart to realize that, or the person that you have gotten to this depth with. How could they deny it? You are qualified. This is a self-qualifying awareness. When you come to the truth of this on your heart, it is truth. It's not something that is contrived or expected or fake or manufactured. It's real. And so that's its own reward, I just heard. What can we see for the wishes being inspired in the connections at this time? Two of Cups. To justify this love, to really affirm the validity of it. This, it's like a bringing it to light kind of energy I'm getting here. The Two of Cups came out in the reverse, which means that the potentials are here, but are we really speaking, acting, and affirming in full alignment with that? Or is this next phase the process by which we actually do that with each other? We actually, now that we have tested it and explored it and validated it, now acting from the knowing instead of from the guessing, from the uncertainty. That's what will be the difference here. This is the manifestation that both are desiring, to bring it into view, to celebrate it. How is this playing out in the 3D? It's ending the abandonment wounds. When we know it from within, we don't need anything outside of ourselves to prove it to us. We just appreciate it when it happens, and that's what I'm getting there. What is illuminating? The process, the journey is illuminating. The Hermit is like a pilgrimage card, and so because the Hermit is focused on loyalty, alignment, and destiny, when we get the Hermit energy, it's like a synopsis of the journey. It's an overview. It's an objective, conscious, aware observation of what's going on. And so this is really, feeling it within and then seeing it through our own unique perspectives, confirmed back to us through taking this overview, knowing for ourselves without having to have someone tell us. This is reading the signs, the synchronicities, the actions, the seeing the love, getting out of our insecurities and actually having our eyes opened and intending to see the grand scheme of it, the love. So that's what we are able to manifest right now, this backing that qualifies us to act on this love as a way of life. And that is the key to long-term relationship, is being anchored in the knowing of the love that's here, so that our actions and words are a living testament to the knowing that we have of the love that is here. Wow. What is the action we are all being able to take? Oh, Four of Wands. So this is the union card. It's in the reverse. So it's preparation for union. We are being prepared for unions, everybody. How is that playing out in the 3D? Empress energy. Empresses, that's the bulk of my viewership. So Empresses, you are embodying Empress energy, and Divine Masculines are seeing you stand out in the crowd. You are like no other. And what lucky masculines you have, because you love them, because they have been deemed worthy of a love like this. They are giddy. I just heard jumping for joy because someone like you loves them, and it's real. It's dawning on everyone, and it's because you know your worth, Empresses. What is the emerging, illuminated, this divine spiritual wisdom that's being proven? These spiritual connections are being self-affirmed. Instead of seeking external validation, it's an inside job. And this is causing the feminine glow up and the masculine giddiness. And it is a preparation for union, for becoming one with each other and accountable for that level of true connection. It's a work in progress, I just heard. What is the biggest challenge in the collective right now? Putting down the guard. Persevering, continuing these final lessons to see the hardship, to see the burden, to see the difference between freedom and binding. How is that challenge being seen in the 3D? Letting go of burden, of other opinions, of expectations, of old ways of analyzing reality. It's really questioning reality. It's questioning our assumptions. It's questioning the things that we thought were doing it right, and asking, are we so sure? Does it produce the fruit I want? When I do it the way that I think I'm expected to do it, is that creating happiness? So it's literally like putting down the resistance to these connections by seeing how far-reaching the oppression and the burden has afflicted humanity, and then letting go in the mundane ways day to day that we see that influence, by just dismissing it, not resisting it, not retaliating, not rebelling, just dismissing, saying that's not God. That's not a truth for me. That's not love. And letting it go. This brings us back into safety. So the challenge is to come back from the karmic battle and not bring those wounds into our daily life, not let those hardships and wounds and losses overpower our purity, our openness, our joy. And to say, I'm glad that's done. I don't need to learn that anymore. Instead of saying, oh, from here on out it might get worse, or it always happens this way, or I can never win. Instead of taking those bad attitudes, we can say, oh, wow, what did I need to learn from this? Okay, I'm glad I don't need that lesson again. And letting those things go. And when others are still in those fear paradigms, in those naysaying, cautionary statements, we can just see that for the fear that's talking and say, you know what? I've qualified myself to have gone through the fire, and I don't believe the same way anymore. I would have been rocked by that person saying this disclaimer or cautionary thing. But now I know better. So this is the challenge. It is literally staying the course and embodying what's being illuminated. There is a sort of a pause. This can also be karmic situations that are taking a while to be cleared, that each little bit is still kind of sticky, that's causing everybody in the collective to sort of feel like the universe has them in a straitjacket or a headlock and that things aren't moving. There's a lot more going on under the surface than meets the eye right now. And the nuggets of wisdom that are illuminating are going to catapult these connections into bliss once this karmic stuff loosens its grip. So if things are dragging out, karmically speaking, in your life, just keep making mental note to self about the epiphanies that you're gaining. What can we see for the solution to this challenge? Wow, the King of Wands in the reverse. So it's deepening and really being grateful for the benefit of these connections beyond just the obvious chemistry and zest for life that we're getting. This is deep appreciation that you cannot fake, you cannot find in other places. So it's basically like saying it's been worth it. Great love is worth taking the risks you are guided to take, making the steps you are guided to take because of it. And so this is like saying the reward is going to be greater than the sum of the trials here. How is it playing out? We're having a new vision of what long-term material realm thriving, what living the dream looks like. We're now learning we can live the lucid dream, and we can go even higher than the image of success we were pitched. The playing it safe image. We can actually individuate from that norm and create the destiny, the reality of our dreams, because it delights us, because it brings us deep fulfillment. How is this? What's illuminating? That we can have any beginning we want. 11sies, I just heard. So beyond even the 10 of Pentacles, we can take it to the 11 of Pentacles. We can be in, so the 11s, 1111, all of that, that is a bell ringing by the universe that says you are creating your reality in real time, instantaneously. Be mindful of your thoughts. Your energy, your attitude is creating your reality. If you're in suffering, you're creating more suffering energy. You're compounding the suffering. If you are in freedom, you're bringing more abundance and flow. And so this is living the lucid dream, because we're moving into pure manifestation from a pure place, which is exponentially more potent in this new energy on the earth than it was in the past, when it was hogwash, when humanity was in disbelief and disillusionment. So yes, we are seeing that more is possible than we ever dreamed possible, and we're seeing it in practical, accessible ways more and more. What is the direction in the near future? Balance. We are coming into this kind of balance. All of the angles of growth, the trajectories, the angels, the perceptions are conspiring. We're balancing out. And this is where these immediate manifestations are going to take on true abundance, is because we are manifesting goodness, we're manifesting benefit, we're manifesting love. We're no longer confined to manifest more heartache and hardship and lack. We've tipped the scales. How is this balance going to be seen in the 3D? Lovers coming together, the higher love templates grounding. What's being illuminated through this? Joy and celebration. This is a wedding card too, but a camaraderie card, a celebration. There's so much harmony and balance coming in for the collective. I wish that for all of us, more and more, and deep gratitude. Namaste. Bye for now.